All right, Bang Bang. Today is Wednesday. It's April 6th. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. I'm here in studio guests. We have WGN's Pat Tomasulo. Pat, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here. This, like I was saying, this I like this setup. This is a very confessional setup. I'm on the couch. Mm-hmm. You're behind a desk. I feel like I'm about to start a fantastic therapy session.
This is
right
great.
now.
Do I feel kind of like I'm too on top of you? Does it
No,
feel
I
like
this. The poker table gives it a very relaxed vibe.
Good.
No, I like it. I feel like we're on equal footing, and I'm ready to spill whatever you want to talk about. I love the beef kit, right? It's very subtle.
It's people are looking at me. They're not looking at the beef kit. Right. But they should look at the beef kit. Have you tried one of these?
I have not tried one yet. I'm guessing you have a few laying around that you might be able to give me as a parting gift.
We just talked about this Monday, excuse me. So we had a bunch of them, and now we used to have them all in front of us. You know, like you said, it's kind of like Wayne's World,
right?
And people just keep snagging them. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make this this is the game Sunday.
Yeah.
So we're actually limited, but this is all yours.
Oh,
I'm
look
giving
at
it
this!
to you.
I knew there was a reason
Yes.
I came by today, aside from selling my soul to plug my special to anybody who'll take me.
Exactly. No, exactly. So we will get into that, but actually we'll start with this. So
let's do it.
Have you had JP Graziano yet, though?
No. You know what?
Really?
I haven't. I got to get over there.
All right.
I don't do much for fun, Edward. I work and then I don't get over to the West Loop as much as I would like to, but I am on the hunt for a good Italian sub in Chicago. I will say that growing up in Jersey, you cannot throw a rock without hitting a good Italian deli. Mm-hmm. There are good Italian delis in Chicago. Don't get me wrong, and I'm their reputation precedes them, but the volume of delis in Chicago, there is a real, where do you live? Are you on the
So I live northwest side. I currently live in Edison Park.
So you at least got...
There's a lot.
Right.
And because I remember talking to you about that before. We talked about a bagel place over there once.
Right. Oh, yeah. What was the name of that place? I don't remember.
New York Bagel and Bialy,
I think it was
maybe?
New York Bagel and
Yeah.
Bialy.
Mm-hmm.
But I used to live in Roscoe Village. I live in North Center now. And JP's is the closest. JP's, Bari, those are the closest delis, which drives me nuts. But I got to get over there. Their stuff looks, I follow them on Instagram.
It's phenomenal. He's an artist. The way he goes about his sandwich. We went there once. We got behind the counter and everything. And he had a reasoning for everything. And it was just so informative and so interesting. So
what's he put on an Italian sub? What is he? A salami, capicola, mortadella?
I think he's just standard. I don't have. I could pull it up. I don't have exactly what it is, but anything that's standard, he's got it for sure. But yeah, so if you want to go check them out, if you're in Chicago or if you're visiting Chicago, summer's right around the corner. Go check them out at 901 West Randolph. They're open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 4, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday they got a night window till 1 a.m.
Look at you. The way you segued into that plug, Ed. Seamless.
I wish I could take credit for it, but you did it for me with the beef kit.
Yeah.
You did it for me.
Fantastic.
You did it for me. So go get that and the beef kits at tasterealchicago.com. Graduation season is right on the corner. Make sure you got your nut.
You got to have a sub.
Yeah, we are.
Graduate. Nice 6-footer.
Exactly, yeah.
They do those here? Do they do the 6-foot sub or the 3-foot sub?
So what's funny, we talked to Jim about that before.
Yeah.
The only people he does it for is the firemen.
Really?
So,
that makes sense.
Special request for the firehouse.
Yeah, I remember we always used to. That was we'd always do a wrestling banquet at the end of the year. That was in Chicago they have beef masticholi and chicken, or the staple. It's kind of the same deal. It was sausage and pepper, ziti, and chicken, and then always a 6-foot sub.
Oh, really?
For any kind of potluck or any kind of buffet or end of the year banquet, there was always the 3 or a 6-foot sub.
I'm interested in that. I'll put a pin in that. So, like you said, capicola, salami, mortadella, provolone, tomato, lettuce, red wine, vinegar, and
It's
oregano.
the holy trinity right there, man.
Go get it, 901 West Randolph and tasterealchicago.com. Why do we do that? Why do we only stick with the same ones? So I like that Jersey has their thing too.
Yeah.
I've always said that. If someone mixed it up and you walked in there and it was hey, we're doing tenders or we're doing pulled pork. It's so ingrained in the whole culture and everything. I've always been just stunned that nobody really tries to stray away.
To deviate from like what, an Italian, like if they're like, no mortadella, we're gonna do.
No. The catering. I'm saying like if you go if you go to a graduation party, it's beef, masticholi,
right,
and fried chicken,
right.
You know.
I got to tell you though, to me, I don't mind it that much. I'm a creature of habit. Like how many new restaurants open up in Chicago every week? How many great restaurants there are? My wife and I go to the same 5 places, 6 places.
Oh yeah.
We never did, because I think like you have so few of those moments, right? Like there are so few times that we go out to dinner. We're like, I don't want to risk this. Mm-hmm. I want to go with what I know.
Yeah. No, I get it.
But that's just Chicago too, man. I mean, traditions die hard.
Oh yeah, big time.
Right?
But I struggle with that. Isn't it like, don't you want to hit more though? Like, don't you strive to be like, I should really try this place out?
Ideally, yes. Yeah, no. Ideally, I would like to. But
you're just stuck in, is it more you or your wife? Be honest too.
No, probably even.
Even?
You know why? Because I work almost every weekend. Mm-hmm. So it's not like, and I'm in bed by 8:30 every night. So the amount of times we go out to dinner is very small. So when we do it, and then the other thing is too, is like, so with COVID and everything, my wife has some immune things. And so we're not still really going out a ton.
Yeah.
There's only so many good places you can go where the takeout is as good taking out as it is. There's some things you can't do takeout for.
No, correct.
Right?
And I feel like there's a reason why when we grew up, it was pizza and it was Chinese.
Right.
And it still holds true. Like nobody can really come close to takeout when it comes to
There are a couple
that.
Italian places. You ever go to, you've been to La Scarola, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
That travels very well.
Okay.
We get takeout from
Pastas
Armando.
too. Yeah,
Pastas will
Pastas,
do well.
yeah.
Some Italian dishes you really can't.
Yeah.
You really can't do takeout as much. But yeah, his stuff, we order from him all the time.
He's the best too.
The best.
He is like,
Poor guy's getting. You see his Instagram.
I saw that he's shilling
He's
Bitcoin. I'm like,
I don't even think he knows what Bitcoin is. No. My poor Armando.
We got to get that back for him.
I don't know. How do you do it?
I don't know.
You guys have more pull in this area than I do.
I love that guy, and he's so
The
part
best.
of the experience.
Oh.
And, like that place is great. Like that gets a good grade, but he's just a guy who bumps it up a couple points.
For sure.
We got to get that Instagram back for him. I don't know how to do
I don't know how you do that. Harry, you know anything about that? Can Harry talk, or is he?
No,
Harry can talk.
Is he allowed to
He's
talk?
allowed to
Does he have to
talk.
get permission to speak?
No, I always like whenever we bring up something weird, and I like to catch him off guard.
Because you're what, 23?
24.
24. So he should know Bitcoin. Not that you're an old guy by any means, but
We've done a podcast trying to understand Bitcoin, but it's still a little over my head.
Yeah.
I understand Bitcoin more than NFTs personally.
Really?
Right.
Yeah, that made a little more sense to me.
Are you into that shit or no?
No, man.
Neither?
For me, the craziest thing I'll do is jack up the 401k risk assessment from an 8 to a 9. Like that's about as far as I'm going.
There you go. You could see everything.
You know what? I'm smart enough to know what I don't know, and I don't have the time nor the inclination to really.
To go for
I would like to. Again, like in a fantasy world, I would love to understand Bitcoin.
You just like. There should be like someone who could just hold your hand and.
Plus, I feel like once you become a Bitcoin guy, you got to talk about Bitcoin all the time. Everybody has that one buddy who made $1,000 on Bitcoin, and now he's Elon Musk with the way he's and he's always talking about Bitcoin. You got to get in there. No, I'm fine. I'm okay.
I'm all set. No, I hear you, but. We'll see what happens with it, I guess. Is it so obviously you work at WGN, is that what's the vibe like there? Is it's more older, I assume, or is that completely off base there? I'm just asking. Are the people there older? Well, yeah. I mean, I'm just
what's amazing is that I am amazed we still have people that work there that are his age.
Really?
Yeah. Which blows my mind that somebody is 23 and is like, I want to get into television. I think this is an industry and a medium that is going to be in it for the long. I'm already looking for the lifeboats.
Yeah. Are you though?
I'm always planning.
Yeah,
I'm always trying to figure out what's next.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I kid about it, but I do think, like I'm on morning news. I think morning news will be the last man standing because I think it's one of those things where I think people are always going to be lazy in the morning. Like our big competition in television is the streaming services, is people watching Netflix, people like at nighttime, people are watching TV, they're watching their streaming. But I don't think in the morning that's how people view television. I think they just put on whatever's convenient. I think they want weather, they want to laugh, they want just to hear what's going on in the world. Nobody is waking up being like, I gotta queue up the Tinder swindler, while I get the kids ready for school. And so I guess my hope is that I think everybody's going to get to that point, right? Like I think, people your age and people, I don't know, do you watch TV at all in the morning?
No, I'm pretty much out the door. Yeah. Even when I was a kid, like I was pretty much just...
But my feeling is that like people like you, once you get married, once you have kids, you're up a little bit earlier, you're getting kids ready, you want something on in the background. Yeah. Like I think that's where we'll continue to get people, where it's habit forming.
Totally. And then that's where like you hear a little something and you catch and then that's where you keep going. So I agree. Right. Like and you have like a very fun, easy like show. Yeah. I would say like it's not your standard scary report like all the time. It's very fun.
I mean, we probably do more news than I would like to do. I mean, if it were up to me, like I still get pissed when I get bumped because it's a snowstorm. I'm like, come on. I got Bulls highlights to show. I got this funny graphic that I made and this song that I'm going to play, when Tomasulo hits a basket. But, now it's our show is, dude, there's not a day that goes by where I don't leave that place like any other workplace. Yeah. There are times where you're like, God, I'm sick of this person or that person, or I'm sick of this or that. But there's rarely a day that goes by where I leave that place and I'm like, dude, I cannot believe we get away with what we get away with on that show. Yeah. It's crazy.
That's great then. And do you do a lot of the behind, like the prep work and stuff, or are you just kind of worked your way into?
I do like I don't do as much as I used to. I mean, there was a time on that show where I didn't even have a producer, so I would edit everything. I would make the graphics. I would do, that didn't last long. I have a great producer who sets the table for me every morning. But I'll get in and I'll pick which stories we're gonna do. I usually leave like cutting the highlights and all that stuff to him. But I'll pick what I want to do, what I want to say. I write everything, the graphics, all the musical cues, all that stuff. I'm still really hands-on with that.
You're still really in the weeds. Yeah. That's awesome. Do you enjoy that, or are you like ready to fucking hand that off?
I'm at a point where like there's only so much. I'm always looking for ways to kind of evolve it a little bit. But it's hard. It's getting harder. I've been there 16 years.
It's a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, when you're any place that long, it gets a little tougher to figure out ways to advance it. Like I feel like there are days where I'm like, Jesus Christ, I have thought of every photoshopped graphic there is to be thought of for this segment. I've got nothing left. And then, the next day it's like you have like 3 good ideas. I will say it gets a little harder the longer I'm there and the longer I'm doing it. But no, I still love it. And
so you just did, I know your trajectory, you were in Upper Wisconsin.
Yeah, that was my first job right out of school.
And then where'd you go after that?
Buffalo.
Oh, nice.
Buffalo's a good town. You ever been?
No, I never have. It's on my list, though.
Buffalo's a lot better now than it was when I worked there. When I was there, I loved it. To me, it was always like, it reminded me a lot of Chicago. It had the same, it was a blue collar, used to be, like a steel mill town. So that real blue collar, South Buffalo, kind of like south side of Chicago. Same ethnic breakdown of the people, same crazy sports, same crazy like food scene. It was just a much smaller and at the time economically depressed version of Chicago. But now, like in a city on a lake too. Like since I left there, I've been gone 16 years. They've developed the whole lakefront, and I haven't been back since.
And the Bills have kind of taken off as this like team, like America's team almost.
Oh, dude, and when I was there 3 football seasons, they didn't go to the playoffs once.
Oh, yeah.
It was the end of the Drew Brees era.
Dude,
Not Drew Brees,
yeah.
Drew Bledsoe. It was when they drafted J.P. Lossman.
Okay,
Do you remember
yeah.
him?
Yeah.
And they were terrible. And
Is that the Fitzmagic years, or is that Fitzmagic
he was
came in
after
later?
me. So
Okay.
he came after me. So it was I'm trying to think if J.P. Lossman kept the job the whole time I was there. I can't remember. But dude, they were bad, and they would still sell out every single game. I mean,
I love the team, man.
Incredible football town.
They love the Bills.
Oh yeah,
just like we love the Bears, and we just get hurt all the time. You know, that's just the way it is for some places, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So do you? So you go to bed. What time do you got to be at the studio every day?
I'm usually in the studio by 4:30.
Holy shit! So 8:30 p.m. You're going to bed.
Most nights.
Yeah.
But it depends on what's, if there's a game I want to see all of, if I'm doing stand up that night, I'm up late. But yeah, it never gets normal.
No.
Getting up I get up at like 3 a.m. It never, there are times where your body will get used to it, and then out of nowhere your body will just be like, you know what? No, not this week. You're gonna fall asleep at your desk multiple times this week.
I believe that too.
It's your body you go through. It's very cyclical that way.
Yeah, different ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
So what's like your latest? You're like, I'm gonna be a bag of shit if I don't go to bed before this time.
If I don't go to bed before 11,
yeah.
When I first started doing stand up, dude, I don't know how I used to do this, but when I was first doing stand up, I wasn't getting booked at clubs on weekends. So I would host the Laugh Factory's open mic, then I would stay and do their showcase, and then I would do another show. There were nights routinely, and I was getting in way earlier too. I used to get in to WGN before I did my late night show on GN. I was in a routine where I was getting up at 2:30 in the morning. Like I was at GN by 3:30, and I was doing stand up. I would be getting to bed at 11:30, getting up at 1:30, and then going to work. And you could tell where I was falling asleep because the script would have typos in them.
Yeah.
I would be falling asleep at my desk writing.
It's gibberish.
It was complete gibberish.
Is that I feel like there should be, the presidential pictures. There should be that of you. Yes. Of those
you know
days
what though,
you.
man? I think I've clean living, man.
Yeah.
I've aged. I'd like to say I'm 44.
Oh wow, you look great.
Yeah,
you're the same age as Portnoy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What is that? I don't know what that means.
No,
is that a good thing, or do we think he looks good for his age too?
I mean, yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, he looks fantastic.
Yeah, I would say so. He's just it's just in our world, he's always kind of this curmudgeon, old man, you know. But he's,
Bro, the key is no children.
Yeah, he doesn't have kids either.
I look at guys my age who are on that shift with kids. They look either I look really young or they look 100 years old. Because some of these guys, you could just working that shift with kids is just a killer. Though a lot of people say it's the best shift because you're with them during the day, right? They go to bed early, you go to bed early. But no, that's my secret.
What time do you leave?
Work 11:30.
11:30.
Yeah. It's not a crazy long day.
That's always crazy though. You're home at noon.
Yeah.
That's wild. So then how did this stand-up thing happen? What year, when did you start getting into it? How did this?
It was one of those things where I probably always had a, how do I put this? Unreasonable amount of confidence in my ability to do it. It was one of those things that I always see people do. I'm I could do that.
Yeah.
I could do that.
Which is crazy because I feel like that's a crazy thing to do that about.
Yeah. I don't know why. It was just one of those things. I was because I'm I can get up and rant about things that annoy me. I do this all the time anyway. How hard could it be to fine tune that? So I started off 12 years ago. I think it was in 2010. There were some people at the station on the morning show. We have comedians that are part of that are either producers or contributors. And I don't know if you watch Mike Toomey. I don't know if that name rings a bell. He's the one who does that Skip Parker character, the old school sportscaster.
The name sounds very familiar.
So he's been a contributor to our show for years, and Mike's just a brilliant stand-up comic. And so I started tagging around with him. And I'm like, hey, let me do 10 minutes on your show here, 10 minutes there. And it came. I wasn't good, but it came pretty naturally to me. Like I always had a pretty high level of comfort doing that. And then just started, dude, it's like a drug. Like if once that first show where you crush, it's like you're chasing the dragon forever.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that.
So I started, it became an addiction, man.
Yeah.
You got to keep doing it.
And what year was this? Sorry.
This was probably 2010.
2010. So you've been going at it for 12 years now.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, you definitely crafted it because you're good. I've seen you. We did a show I just hosted.
Yeah.
And you're great, man. It was awesome. So you got your special out. What a time to be alive.
Yeah.
How hard was that?
It was, if you look at it over a span of 5 years or 10 years of doing this material, like I don't think a lot of the stuff I did on this special was really fully fleshed out up until maybe a year in the last 2 years. Nah, dude, the night of was perfect. It was like one of those shows. We did 2 shows, and we were at Zany's in Rosemont. Big shout out to Zany's. But it was one of those shows. We taped 2 shows. The first one was one of those shows where it was like, just you hear comedians talk about like the perfect show. They don't happen all the time. You have a lot of good shows. You have some great shows. But when you get a show like that, like, dude, it was like Don Larson in the World Series. Like, the stage was huge. The crowd was phenomenal, right? The club was just rocking that night, and I was just zoned in.
Carving them up.
Zoned in that night.
Yeah.
Which was great.
Yeah, no, that's because do you typically do an hour like that? Or how often do you?
It depends. It depends on the club, and it depends on how much you want to do.
Yeah.
So most times, like, if you were at Zany's on a weekend and you were seeing a headlining comic, usually like the standard is 40 to 45. But if comics are getting ready to tape, or if a comic is a bigger name and can dictate how long they want to do, they'll usually do close to an hour.
Have you ever got bumped from anyone by anyone of note, I guess?
Have I ever gotten bumped? No, I don't think I ever got bumped. I think the only time close to that, dude, when was Just for Laughs in Chicago? That had to be maybe 2012. They did it Just for Laughs here. And Laugh Factory was one of the clubs, and they had they did a showcase of all the comics that were in town. And I was like, Jamie Masada is the owner. He's like, Buddy, you come, you do your set for me, buddy. You come, and I have you go up second. Well, as I'm there, all of these big name comics start popping in. T.J. Miller, Hannibal Buress, Chris D'Elia, Eric Andre. So it ended up being that they kept bumping me back and forth in the show, and I ended up having to go on after Eric Andre.
Oh man!
And I was only in maybe like 2 years, and I'm like, he gets up there and he's just throwing shit. He's knocking over mic stands. And then I get up. I'm like, so how about my wife? It was so brutal. Yeah. And I don't think I ate it. But it was like, when you're seeing all these people that are massive, massive names, and then I get up. So that was the closest I think I ever got bumped. I didn't get bumped from the show, but I got bumped into an undesirable place in the lineup.
Yeah. Impossible.
Impossible.
That's tough, Eric.
But I think, like, Jamie, to his credit, wanted to see it though.
Yeah.
Like, I think he wanted to see how I would. Dude, I credit the guy put me in a spot where I had to grow, and I guess I grew. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you're still doing it. So
yeah.
Is that how would you rate like the Chicago comedy scene?
Chicago comedy scene. Listen, we're never going to be New York or LA just because there's no industry here. It's just not. There's only so many Dick Wolf shows that you can guest star on in Chicago before you're like, all right, I need to do something. I can only play a guy who gets shot so many times. You know, there's definitely more industry here now than there was 10 years ago, right? But I would say Chicago is not a distant third. You know, like you can see live comedy here 7 nights of the week. It's a great place to get good.
Okay.
Because, you know, you can come here and you can get on stage 7 nights a week at a multitude of places, at a number of clubs. And the talent level as a result over the last 10 years has gotten very, very high.
Yeah, it just
like
keeps
you're not,
rising. It's
not like, oh, you have to go to New York or LA to see great comedy. You don't. You can see great comedy here. Like every weekend, the Laugh Factory is packing 300 people in there per show without big names. Like there's no, you know, there's no massive, there's a couple people with credits. But that's also the cool thing now too, is that the way the industry is going, you don't necessarily have to be in New York or LA. There are people here who are getting shows. A lot of comics have relocated to Nashville. That's budding comedy
starting to
town.
pop up, huh?
Yeah, like that's where Bargatze is, and who else? Theo Vaughn moved out there, and Steve Byrne moved out there. So you're seeing that too. But no, man, Chicago's got a lot of talent.
Yeah, you think it's better than Boston?
It's a comedy town. I've never been to Boston.
Yeah.
I know by reputation, Chicago is more highly regarded as a comedy town.
Oh,
than
really?
Boston. I can't speak to that because I've never done a show in Boston. I've never worked in Boston. But I think a lot of people come here now to start out
To do this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you ever make that move then to LA or
No, I don't think so. Not at this point.
No.
There was I don't think I need to anymore, right? Like I think you know, the hope is that the special gets enough. Like, you know, people know me in Chicago. I can sell out shows in Chicago. I can't sell out shows in Dayton, Ohio. So the hope is that, like, by doing the special, I'll broaden my reach so that I can do clubs every weekend, you know, wherever and sell out. And you don't need to be in New York to do that. You know, I have no desire at this point to be, you know, if something popped up, I would take an acting job. But like, I have no desire to be an actor. I have no desire to like host a show for True TV. You know, it's kind of those things. If it fell in my lap, but I've got a good TV job. Like I auditioned for so many. I used to go out to LA once a year, you know, just to take general meetings. Right, and you meet with these programming people who are just jerking your chain. You know, they're just filling their calendar half of the time, right? And I would, you know, I auditioned for and taped a ton of pilots and presentations and all that stuff. And 9 times out of 9, I would get home and my wife would be like, "How was it? How was the show?" I'm like, "Dude, I would not watch this show in 1,000 years." And I kept doing shows like that where it got to the point where I'm like, why do I care if I get one of these shows? I'm on a show now that people love and that I'm not embarrassed to be on, right? And it's keeping the lights on in this house, so what more do I need? And they let me do what I want. They let me do stand-up. So I don't think so. No, L.A., I definitely wouldn't do. No, I don't think I'd go either place.
No.
Listen, dude, if Jimmy Kimmel retired tomorrow and they're like, we want to pay you $5 million.
Yeah, that's a different.
Yeah, all right, yeah, then I'll do it, right? But it's like, nah, I got too much of a good thing going on here.
Hey, let's take a quick break here from talking to Pat and talk about Upstart because I know that saying goodbye to high interest credit card debt is one of the first steps towards financial independence. But the interest month after month can feel like you're in a never-ending hamster wheel. That's where Upstart comes in, folks. Upstart's a powered personal loan that can help you pay down high-interest debt all online with simple and easy-to-understand payments. Upstart has helped over 1.8 million customers on their path to financial freedom. Whether it's paying off credit card debts, consolidating high-interest debt, or funding personal expenses, Upstart can help you get one fixed monthly payment with a clear payoff date. Upstart knows, and this is important, listen in, zero in on this, they know that you're more than just a credit score, so rather than looking at your credit score alone, They consider other factors like your income, employment, and other information provided in your loan application to find you a smarter rate for your loan. You can check your rate in minutes for loans between $1,000 to $50,000 without impacting your credit score. And you can even receive the funds as fast as one business day after accepting your loan, which is important if you need it quick. So don't wait and check your rate today at upstart.com/Eddie. That's upstart.com/Eddie, EDDIE. Please make sure you add that in because that really helps us when you use that URL. So make sure you're doing that. Loan amounts, once again, will be determined based on your credit, income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Go to upstart.com/Eddie and start being smarter about your debt today. All right, let's get back into the episode. Well, that's kind of interesting too, because would you consider yourself more stand-up or more TV guy at this point?
I think now it's 50-50.
Yeah.
I think so. Mm-hmm. I think it's I mean, in my mind, it's 50-50. I think in the public's eye, and in my, probably more of a TV guy. Dude, listen, that's paying the mortgage is TV. So wherever TV has to fall in that hierarchy, let it fall.
Because I've always wondered that, because the people who always had something on the side, like, say back in the day in New York, and those guys who were on, like, we'll use Jim Norton as an example. Yeah. He had the Opie and Anthony show with him to do comedy. Like, is it always, like, comics, it's always better when you have, something steady and then do what you're doing on top of it, right?
I think so. I mean, listen, if you can...
Unless if people like that plunge of like, no, like, hey, we could make it work fully. No.
You
wouldn't want to, or
I'm not wired that way.
Okay.
This is not how where I was, I didn't grow up in an atmosphere where you necessarily took a lot of chances.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I grew up in a blue collar New Jersey house. Like, if you didn't have a job, what were you contributing? Right? Like, if you didn't have a way to pay your bills, like the idea of me going to Rhinelander, Wisconsin to be a TV person was so foreign to anybody in my orbit. It only paid $17,000 a year, but at least it paid something, right? Like, I had insurance. So I never saw myself like, I was like, dude, there's no way I could move to LA out of college and be a starving actor. Like, I'm just not, I need to have a job. I need to have a place to be. I need to have and that's not to say that I couldn't achieve that with stand-up too, right? But I like the act of getting dressed, leaving my house, going someplace, and having a job. That's me. A lot of people are not wired that way. I like having a toe in both pools.
So the routine, you're kind of like...
yeah, dude, I'm such a creature of routine.
He just admitted that he likes the 3 a.m. wake-up call, so
yeah.
That was...
I don't hate it as much as I used to.
Yeah, because I mean, I guess the alternative is you're, like you just said, you're playing shows on Wednesdays in Dayton, and then next city, wherever.
Now listen, dude, I mean, if I ever get to a point where I'm doing theaters every weekend, and
it's a different story.
It's a different story.
It's all
right?
relative. Yeah,
it's all right. If I'm like, all right, Thursday through Saturday, you're going to be in theaters doing shows, right? If I'm Sebastian Maniscalco and I'm doing arenas, then I can,
How about how big he's gotten, man?
Unbelievable.
It's crazy.
He's massive. Yeah. My buddies, I'm good buddies with Pat McGann, who's his opener. And Pat, just the stuff Pat posts, Sebastian, I think Pat posts more than Sebastian lately. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's,
I couldn't imagine. Like, I was thinking about that. Like, he just did 2 shows at the United Center. And
I mean, that's the United Center.
And I don't know if he sold them both out, but even if he had 15,000 a show in 2 nights, like, the fact that 30,000 people came, like, most comics, if they can sell out a run of shows at Zanies, that's a nice payday, and that's just it's a great accomplishment. I'm like, this guy just did 30,000 people in a weekend. It's mind-blowing.
It's wild, man. Like, and that's, I mean, the UC, they're not putting you on their calendar unless if they think you're going to do it too. Right. So that's, like you said, even if they didn't sell it out, that's
what did he just do? I think he did like 5 arenas in 5 nights in Jersey and New York. He did Brooklyn, he did Manhattan, he did Long Island, he did Jersey. Maybe it was 4 arenas in 4 nights or something like that. Crazy.
It's wild. Good for him, man.
Crazy.
That's awesome. And I mean, yeah, even Kevin Hart, what did he sold out the football stadium.
Did he?
Well, I think you saw the link.
I know he was
doing.
doing. I know he was doing. He is a Philly guy, though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He's. I know he's done arenas too, but
it's crazy, man.
it's funny.
Is that like
there's
the
that
goal?
Maniscalco bit about how like Italians are always like wondering like what you're making, and that's totally where my mind goes. I'm like, all right, he's got 30,000 people times $80 a day. What do you think this guy's pulling down? I'm like, dude, I'm living his bit right now.
Exactly. This a pop.
What do you think he's pulling down tonight?
I mean, we're talking this many heads a pop. Like it's just everything.
Plus, you got merch, right?
Exactly. Maybe he gets a slice of the parking. You know, it's just that's very accurate. And I mean, hey, we just talked about La Scarola. You have a dish named after you.
Yeah.
So, like,
have you sampled it yet?
I don't think I have.
What do you mean you haven't seen it? It's the best thing on the menu.
Well, that's a little biased, don't you think?
Oh, no. It's fantastic.
Really?
Have you ever had his gnocchi? Oh,
I don't think I have.
Oh,
that's one of those places where I go and I let people order for me because I don't know.
Here's the problem now is when you have a dish named after you. Some nights you don't want the dish named after you.
Yeah.
Some nights you're like, let me try the rigatoni shiverini.
Mm-hmm.
Let me try, something else. Mm-hmm. It's too much pressure now.
Well, I feel like if you go in, you said you take out sometimes, and you just hear someone at the table next to you ordering the Tomasulo. That could get you by at least.
I don't know.
That could suck.
It's a lot of guilt. I got a lot of welled up Italian Catholic guilt in me.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's delicious. It's gnocchi with sausage, roasted garlic sauce, sun-dried tomatoes, and rapini.
That sounds unbelievable.
I had some guy message me on Instagram. He's like, he goes, if I may, I'm giving him an Italian. He wasn't Italian. He's like, if I could just offer a suggestion, maybe instead of rapini, kale. I'm like, okay, your last name is Anderson. I'm not listening to anything you have to say about a dish named after me. Kale. Get the hell out of here with your kale.
We're not doing that.
He goes, kale and crumb. Like, shut up. I'm not even going to respond to you. Kale. Are you out of your mind?
Now, when he offered this, though, was there any hesitation?
He didn't offer. He just put it on the menu.
That's great.
Because he had it. He served this dish years and years ago. And then every time I'm ordering it, I text him, are you making that gnocchi dish? Are you making that gnocchi dish? And I guess he got sick of me asking, so he put it on the menu. Oh. I didn't ask for this honor, Ed. This was not something I sought out.
That's great. Because I feel like there is some pressure then if he asks. Because do you ever skim the Yelp reviews and someone's like, oh, I got my Tomasulo was cold?
Question. No.
Because that's bad for your reputation. Tomasulo was cold. That could hit the Google search review.
I've heard from a handful of people.
You're in a blender.
Aside from Mr. Kale, everybody loved it.
Okay, good.
So far, no negative Yelp reviews.
Good. I feel like you should do after this, you got to talk to Armando and do a kale substitute just one time.
No.
Just try it out.
No.
Just
I will not lower myself.
Be like, hey.
I will not besmirch the integrity of that dish by putting kale in it. Next thing you know, he's going to be like, and try turkey sausage too. How about you go to hell? How about that?
Sure. You give him one thing, you give him everything.
That's right.
I just wanted you to make it, hey, I'm going to do this. This guy told me, so I'm going to listen to this guy on the internet, of course, because that's how we should operate. And be like, hey, here's how it was. It sucked, man. I tried, but don't even give it to him, Pat. I like that. I saw you just did a video or maybe on your podcast about writing your will.
Oh, yeah.
Where does that stand? No, I don't. But I feel like I should.
Bro, it is the most depressing exercise. Just to sit there and be like, all right, just to look at the person you love more than anybody and be like, so what should we do when you die? It's like, and then you start getting like, we don't have any kids, so we got to figure out where all this money is going to go. Mm-hmm. And now I'm ranking people. I'm ranking cousins and nieces and nephews how much.
You're going that deep?
Well, it's got to go somewhere. Who's it going to go to?
I figured you'd just have less people, less.
Well, that's the thing. You start thinking about this one, and you're like, well, I don't know. This one doesn't need the money. Like my brother's kids are set. They're not getting any of my money.
Yeah.
I have nothing that's going to them. Believe me, they're set for. So now you got to go to the other nieces and nephews. And you're trying to, I had my brother-in-law in town this weekend with his kid. I'm like, listen, how many more of these we planning on? I got to know because we're writing down percentages. And so, there's so many things you can do. Like I had no idea how much you could stipulate when they get the money, how much of the money they get. And then we got some cousins that we like more than others. What do you do if you're leaving this one 20% and this one's only getting 10%? I told my wife, I'm like, if it comes to that, we're going to be dead. I don't care who likes us at that point.
That's true.
They're lucky to be getting anything.
That's true. That's a good point. But the way you look down, it's like, oh, he's fine. He's got a union longshoreman job. Like,
right.
He don't need it. He's doing well. But how do you look upon those people who that have kind of like slacked off? Like, did you take that into consideration?
Well, that's the thing too.
Like, sure, they need it more, but hey, they could have done something
Here's
more.
the thing. Have you ever met anybody that inherited a lot of money that you liked?
I don't.
No. The second somebody inherits money, you're like, that asshole.
Yeah.
Can you believe this guy's aunt died and left him? I don't want to do that to anybody else.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know anyone that's inherited money, period.
I busted my ass for this money, and I want to make sure that they're going to do the same.
Yeah.
So I'll give them a little taste. I'll wet their beak a little bit. But nobody's going to buy a house with how much money I'm leaving them.
Yeah. Did you leave any to the, would you leave any to the zookeepers?
To the zookeepers?
Yeah, I heard you got a thing about you're against zookeepers.
Oh, no. Here's my thing with zookeepers, and I'm talking about this on stage. What was the last time you were in a zoo?
I think I went with my nieces and nephews probably a couple years ago.
I mean, when you were in there, does it ever dawn on you how much trust we place in people who work at the zoos? Because think of this job, aside from this job, think of when you've had a regular office job or how many people there were just complete useless wastes of spaces?
Oh, yeah.
Quite a few.
Oh, yeah.
The zoo's got people like that.
Oh, yeah, totally.
The zoo's got people like that, but they're in charge of wild animals. That's the difference. And we just walk around totally oblivious. Like we act like, unlike every other workplace in America, nobody there is fucking around on the job. Nobody there is having a bad day. Nobody was on TikTok for 90 minutes and forgot to lock up the elephants.
Yeah.
We just walk around stuffing churros in our face. Just, I'm in the primate house. So face to face with a 400-pound gorilla. Nothing between us. Lincoln Park Zoo. Nothing between us but a pane of glass. And I'm like, this'll hold.
Yeah.
I'm sure they've spared no expense on safety at this zoo that's free to get into. I'm sure.
No, you're right.
I'm sure Chad tested the integrity of this glass thoroughly.
Yeah, they took White Sox Dave there and they threw a speed pitch at it. That's how it was that was the testing at that cage. You're right though. It's surprising that you just don't have a random cheetah just running around.
How it's not happened is a miracle to me.
And because I'm sure you're in those Facebook groups and whatnot, right?
Which fit?
Facebook
groups? No.
No, like the community things.
No, I'm not.
You're not in
No, I hear from enough people on Facebook. I don't need to be in a group.
But okay, then I'll let you know then. So obviously, everything's they report. This they took my Cadillac convert, whatever. They can report the crime.
I ended up in one of those. Did you know that?
No, what do you mean?
I got those Facebook groups of these
the Community Watch?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
I was in one of those.
See, I knew you were in one. You're not. You're such a Community Watch guy.
No. I'm not in one. I was reported in one.
Oh, were you? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
I moved to North Center, and I don't know if you've ever spent any time over there. One of the elementary schools has a big turf field, like the artificial turf. And it was like 6 a.m, and I was walking my dog, and I was like, let's go, let her off leash a little bit, and I'll throw a ball for her. And some parent was walking by at 6:30 a.m, mind you, and was not happy that I had my dog loose on the turf at this particular school. And had she have asked me nicely to move, I may have considered it, but she came on a little bit strong, yelling at me and ordering me to get off the turf. And when you come at me with that kind of energy, it's a guarantee that I'm not going to move a muscle. Mm-hmm. And the longer I refrained from moving, the more insane this woman got. to the point where she started videotaping me.
Oh, wow.
And taking pictures of me.
Wow.
And she got home and she's like, you're going to be all over Facebook. I'm like, lady, I'm all over Facebook already. Believe me, they're going to know who you're putting on Facebook. And she put me on Facebook. And I had all these lunatic parents apparently got whipped in a frenzy that I had my dog loose at the school. I'll say it was Bell School. I don't care. Bell School, your parents are insane.
And was this like nobody had your side? Like nobody?
Oh, a lot of people knew the woman was insane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. A lot of people knew they were. But that's not the people that, these Facebook groups. Those aren't the people that make the most noise. It's the lunatics who have nothing else better to do.
Correct.
Than argue on Facebook with each other.
Now, is there wars though? Like if I'm 2, 5, or 7, I'm picking it up and being like, this guy's a bad guy. He wants his dog to eat kids.
Missed opportunity for them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I don't see why,
Yeah.
Do you got any rivals like that?
Dude, I don't even know who's on any of the other stations at this point.
You're completely
I'm
tuned
so
out of the
oblivious.
wars.
I barely watch. No offense. I barely watch my own show half the time.
Yeah.
I don't watch news any other time of the day.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but to like you said, that I'm still have a hard time believing that you've never been in one of those groups.
No. Have I ever participated myself?
Yeah.
No. Why would you think I would be in one of those groups?
I feel like everyone's in one.
You think I'm a guy that's big on community involvement and commiserating with my fellow man?
But you like to know. You seem like a guy who likes to know. Like I just like to know. I like to know. I'm not getting involved.
I can take it or leave it.
But I like to know.
No. I find that the more I expose myself to dialogue on Facebook, the more annoyed I get. So I've just decided to extract myself from the situation as much. I'm trying to get better with when people leave comments on Instagram. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get better with responding to them, but it's like every 5th comment I'm like, now I'm annoyed.
Yeah.
It's just, why did I do this?
I mean, it's a good general rule of thumb to just,
to not do it or to do it. Don't you have to do it though? Isn't that part of with boost the algorithm? You gotta.
Well, yes, but Facebook is a different story. The more you comment on Facebook, that directly correlated with how crazy you are. Yeah, I would say when it comes to Facebook for sure.
That's the one I do the least amount of interacting with.
Yeah,
that I post and ghost. I don't look at what's doing there afterwards for all.
Yeah,
the landscaper really trying to get.
You want to answer?
No, not
you
particularly.
Sure? Okay, well, come on, let's talk about the tree in the backyard.
Have you? Do you live in a house?
I rent the house with a couple buddies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bro, landscaping, not cheap.
No.
Not cheap. And then the worst part is I had my brother-in-law up from Wisconsin this past weekend. And men up there, they just do stuff. They don't hire a landscaper.
Yeah.
I'm talking to him. I'm like I need to get the cement on my gangway replaced. Mm-hmm. It's all cracked. Which is what you want when you buy a new house, but that's another story. He's like, yeah, well, you just rent a jackhammer. I'm like, what? He's like, you rent a I'm like, do you know me?
Yeah.
Look at me. I'm wearing dress sneakers and a fancy hoodie. Do I look like a guy who's going to just start wielding a jackhammer? And so now that's in my head. Now I'm looking at these quotes, and I'm like, this guy wants how much for pavers? I could just call my brother-in-law, come up and do it.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's
nuts.
It's a lot. That's why you just got to know someone who does it, You got
to know a guy.
You got to know a guy. And I know that's so cliche, but it's so true.
That's very Jersey.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Jersey too?
Guy. Yeah.
We don't do things.
Yeah.
My people, we don't do things. Yeah. You need something done, you just call a guy. We don't.
That's my best
We just showered. We're not going to get dirty.
We're not worried about that. We're not worrying about that now. But yeah, if you're in those Facebook groups, the big thing about those, besides the crime reporting, is the sheer amount of pets that go missing.
Really?
It's absurd. These dogs.
Is this where you live? Or a lot of pets going missing in the old Northwest side?
Yes. I think a lot. I don't know what it is. But there's a new dog or a cat or every single day. And I thought of that with your zoo story. It's like, how, I hope these people don't work there. That fascinates
me.
Yeah.
It fascinates me how many people, I could not fathom any scenario in which I lose my dog. Right? How do you it gets loose and takes off, I guess.
For your own, yeah, I guess
But you know your dog well enough to know how it's going to get loose or how it would.
Yeah. What's your dog's name?
My dog's name is Penelope.
Penelope.
She's
oh,
the
okay.
best.
What kind?
She's a lab mix.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you think you just got her down like that, huh?
Yeah,
There's no
I know her
chance.
like the back of my head. Not a chance. I can't imagine any scenario in which I lose that dog.
She never.
Even if she gets off leash. There was a time when she was younger where I knew if she got off the leash, she was running to Wisconsin. Like there was no getting her back. But she's calmed down since then, and now I know and I can trust her when I can let her off the leash, when I can't, all that stuff.
What does she love more than anything?
Food.
Okay, but what's like, there's not like there's a certain kind. There's not like the top.
She'll eat anything.
Anything?
The dog licks dust off the floor. She's a lab. She's not.
Yeah.
We're not talking. She's not like German Shepherd level of intelligence here.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much to really get her going.
To get her going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just envision a scenario.
No, I have a dog with allergies, so she doesn't get a lot of good. This is me. Every dog I get has health issues.
Oh, really?
Every dog. I'm buying the expensive dog food.
Wow.
We're getting allergy shots. This is what I get. This is what I get for being good in adopting dogs.
But
all
is
the
it
time.
you?
I don't know their bloodlines. I don't know where I'm just adopting dogs. I'm a rescuer, Ed. This is what I do.
But there's no
You think it's me?
self-reflection that it could be you.
That they're allergic to me.
Maybe you're fucking bringing them in gangways that have cracked cement, and you're chewing up the paws, and then they're getting something in the paws, and they're getting this problems. They're getting allergies.
You ever
from
have a
that.
dog with allergies?
No, I've only had one dog in my life.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Current dog or old
No,
dog?
he's dead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
gone.
worst.
Yeah, it was tough. Sad.
It's the worst.
These guys always have this running joke. I guess I have to bring it up because people who listen are going to be jumping all over. They say I hate dogs, and that's just a vicious rumor to start about someone.
Why do you hate dogs?
I don't hate dogs. I don't love dogs as much as a lot of people love dogs.
Okay.
I like dogs a proper
You can take
amount.
them or leave them.
Yeah, well, I like them. But I also think it's wrong that people don't like to, like they think all dogs are angels.
Right.
And I don't like people that don't, that
You're
can't.
saying not all dogs are angels, Ed?
I am saying that. I will say
Wow.
that. I don't like the people who act like that and then they can't admit when some dogs are bad.
Right.
And I just think I like them a proper amount.
Right.
Like there's that proper, I don't like, I don't need my mentions to be all puppy pictures to
Right.
have a good day.
Well, I think there's a happy medium. So I think by your definition and how you described it, that you and I would be very simpatico. Because I like, you go to the dog park and people want to be your friends because you have a dog and they have a dog.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
Not about it. Yeah,
we have
yeah.
dogs. That's about all we have in common. I don't need to know what your dog's habits are.
Yeah.
Not really interested.
Yeah.
I don't post very many pictures of my dog at all.
Okay.
I'm not one of those lunatics who's making a Facebook page or an Instagram account for their dogs.
Is that the
which, by the
landscaper
way,
again?
no, it's the I got to make sure I'm not going to get a ticket.
Oh, it's okay.
Which, by the way, the people who do Instagram pages for their dogs, boy, really not thinking through the long-term viability of that business plan.
Just because it's going to end at some point?
It's going to end.
Yeah, it's not going to be.
And you can tell when they know it's going to end because they'll be like, all of a sudden they'll bring in like a new puppy into the fold.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, we got Max, a puppy sister. It's like, no, you got yourself an insurance policy.
Yes. You got someone to take over the page.
Right.
That's all you got.
So by that definition, I'm not by what you would think a crazy dog person.
Yeah.
Do I kiss my dog on the face multiple times a day?
Okay.
Would you show emotion to a dog that way? Would you love a dog?
Yeah, sure. Of course.
Okay.
Of course. You get down, you whatever.
Yeah.
You do what you got to do.
What about a kiss? Would you kiss a dog?
Maybe
Would you kiss its snout?
on the nose. Yeah,
kiss
I
it.
kiss it on the nose. I wouldn't. No
Licking. No
mouth
to
mouth contact.
No, that's repugnant.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're on the
But
same
I'll kiss
page.
my dog on the head.
Yeah, that's
So you love
totally,
dogs.
totally. I would. Yeah, I've done that. I would do that.
I think I'm in your corner.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that.
I think you and I have a line in the sand with what's acceptable dog behavior and what's not. I think we're very much in line.
Beautiful. Please, print that, clip that, whatever.
Yeah.
Let the people know that we're on the same page
Ed doesn't
here.
hate dogs.
I don't. Thank you. I needed this. I need more defense around here.
There you go.
They gang up on me.
I'm
around
in your
here.
corner.
Thank you. Like gang up on
What the hell
me.
are these people doing with their dogs if they think that's
I don't
hating
know.
dogs?
I don't know. They just like to make up.
My dog doesn't sleep in the bed.
Oh, okay. I like that too.
Doesn't sleep in the bed. What else? Doesn't get human food.
Okay.
She eats dog food.
No scraps.
Yeah, and she's perfectly happy.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm happy. I'm happy. If anything came out of this today, I'm happy that came out of this.
Good.
Okay. But besides that, thank you for coming in the special. We got to let
Yeah.
people know where the special is, how they can watch it, how many times should they watch it.
They should watch it dozens of times. They should tell all of their friends to watch it and have their friends tell their friends. It's on YouTube for free. That's how much I think my comedy is worth, that I'm giving it away for free. But no, in all sincerity, it's I'm my own worst critic. I don't know if you're the same way. Like I could do something that I like, and a week later I'm like, that was the biggest piece of shit. I don't know what I was thinking. This is going on 3 months that I recorded this, and I still like it. So that should say something. But no, I'm probably proudest of this than I am of anything I've done.
That's great, and it's really good. I watched it this weekend. Pat Tomasulo, Tomasulo. I stumbled there, but that's his YouTube channel, and it's called "What a Time to Be Alive." Go check it out, and I'll post in the blog. We'll post in the description and everything. So check it out. It's really funny. Pat does a great job.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you, Pat.
You got it.
All right, that's it, everybody. Thank you for watching. We'll see you all tomorrow.